see your face? Your handsome face? Oh, show mommy that handsome face. Show mommy that handsome face. Oh, there you go. There's that handsome boy. And blow mommy some kisses. Go.
Hi friends, welcome back to Texas Family Life. My name is Kristy and I am a mom of 7. This is my home birth story with my twinnies, part 2. So, if you have not seen part 1, where I am actually giving birth to these babies, you can find that in the link below. I'll put it in the description box and you can go find that. And if you are here for part 2, well, we finally made it. Sorry that it's taken so long to get it out, but it's taken a lot of adjusting being a mom to twins rather than a singleton. So I'm going to share with y'all what happened after I had the babies. I birthed both babies. I'm going to give you a little bit of detail. So baby A came out head first, as he should. He came so quickly that his cord broke, and that was handled so perfectly. Y'all can actually see it in the video, them clamping his cord. He had it long enough that it wasn't a problem at all, but his cord was very short. And baby B came out breech, which my midwife specializes in. I was not even the least bit worried about delivering a breech baby, just because she has had so much training in it and has delivered her fair share of breech babies without complication. Now in the hospital, if I had had a breech baby, it would have been an automatic C-section because the doctors just simply are not trained in that area anymore. And that's just typically the way it is. There are some doctors willing to deliver a breech baby because it is pretty straightforward. You can see all the steps along the way. My midwife explained all of it to me, and it's just so like, if the baby's like this, you do this. If the baby's like this, you do this. And it's like very methodical almost. And so that went really well. This is baby B, and he was bigger than baby A. Baby A was 6 pounds even, and he was 8 pounds 6 ounces. So they're both pretty fair sizes. So I birthed both babies, and then I climbed up on the bed and was enjoying them. In the video, the end of the video, the last one, you can see them meeting for the first time. I mean, they spent 9 months in the womb together, but they both had like the sac in between them. So I was very excited about them actually like meeting without the sac in between them, which I didn't really get to enjoy for too long. So I had them, and then one of the midwives went ahead and gave me Pitocin because I requested that, just because it helps your uterus contract down. And if your uterus doesn't contract down quickly enough, then you can start clotting and bleeding extra. So they did that. I think I had Cytotec, I had shepherd's purse, which is an herbal thing. They gave me beef broth and so many wonderful things. Like it was so peaceful. And then they said, okay, it's stage 3, which is delivering the placenta. I went ahead and did the placenta, and it wasn't super worrisome at first. I was bleeding, you know, like I usually do. But then they asked, you know, if I needed to go to the restroom, and I could. I needed to go. And so they asked me to stand up to go, and they said, is there ringing in your ears? And I said, yes. And they said, okay, lay back down. So I lay back down, and they're continuing to get some clots out, which is fine. And my midwife is massaging my uterus and stuff like that. And they said, we might need to call for transport. And I said, go ahead and do it. Just do it. I'm not gonna play any games, you know. And I'd rather be on the safe side and transfer to the hospital, and I'm glad that I have that option. While waiting for the ambulance, my midwives gave me some fluids. They brought the bags, they did the IV and everything like that, and that was great. And I felt pretty much fine. The only thing was I felt dizzy trying to get up. So they called the ambulance. Everyone showed up. The ambulance, the firemen. There were like way too many firemen in here while I was just had a baby. So I just kind of kept to myself and pretended like nobody else was in the room. And at this point, my friend had come to watch the kids, which this is exactly why we have people come over to watch the kids, is just in case there is an emergency. I'm not having to worry about what my kids are doing, and my husband's not having to worry about them. So my friend was watching my kids, and then my parents, once they found out we had the babies, they were like, we're coming over. So they were already on their way, which was wonderful. So they were able to relieve my friend and she could go home. I didn't want her to have to stay all day with my kids. So we were very blessed to find out that one baby could ride with me in the ambulance, and then one was gonna ride with my husband to the hospital. So we did that. Oh, missy. So they loaded me up. My midwife rode with me, and she was kind of my advocate. She told them exactly what happened, how much blood I had lost. I only lost 1 liter, but they were just concerned that it wasn't stopping and that my uterus wasn't like clamping down as it should, which with twins, you know, my uterus was twice as big, and so it was a lot harder for it to do its job and to clamp down, and that's what the Pitocin was for, and the Cytotec and things like that. So we were just hoping that it would clamp down, and it was just having, I mean, these are babies 6 and 7. So we rode to the hospital. The ambulance people gave me warm blankets, and it was so wonderful. They had a special wrap that went all the way around my body, and then the baby got to sit pressed up against me, which was so special, just riding to the ambulance with my baby and my midwife. And, you know, it was hard transferring to the hospital, but I had my home birth. I successfully had my home birth. My babies were healthier than you can even imagine. It all went so well. And I got to the hospital, and all they did was give me a few extra bags of fluids. I automatically got swollen. I tried to take a video. I don't know if I'll show you, but I'm making this face just because I'm like super embarrassed about how swollen I am. But I didn't get much video in the hospital just because I was focused on trying to get home to my kids and back to, you know, the place where I can heal the best, where I have, you know, good food and comfort. But so we got to the hospital, and they put a catheter in and gave me extra fluids and all that stuff. I didn't need a blood transfusion. I didn't need anything. They were just checking my levels. They were saying, you know, I think it was my ferritin levels were low. And so they were just trying to make sure they went back up a little bit, and they did immediately. It's funny. I know there's many people out there that don't agree with home births and that say that it's not safe. And I mean, once again, there are risks everywhere in life. You get in the car with your kids to drive, there's a risk that you're gonna get in an accident. You could die, your kids could die, anybody could. I had my hospital births, and I've seen those go wrong for me, and so I know what's best for us, and this was so good. So unfortunately, like I said, the hospital staff, they weren't the friendliest, and they just seemed kind of put off by like me being at home having a birth, because they know that like hospital's the safest place in their opinion, because that's what they know and that's what they see. And unless you really do like lots of research and you've been putting work into like seeing what's out there and what's best, then you're not really gonna know. You're gonna have like one way you see things. You gotta explore everything, you know? So my nurse was very concerned for me, and she took it upon herself to tell me, you know, her fears for me as a mom. She told me that, she said, do you want to have more kids, or do you plan to have more kids? And I said, you know, we're open to whatever God wants to give us. And she says, okay, well, now that you've had 6 and 7, just so you know, there will not be a provider that will allow you to have a vaginal birth. It's going to be an automatic C-section, and I want you to know how dangerous having a baby at home was, especially twins and one breech. That is so dangerous. She said, you know, these terrible things could have happened, and she starts telling me all these like very scary things that could have happened with having a home birth, with having a breech baby and things like that. And she's like, you know, I'm just telling you because I'm concerned. And oh, I'm sure she was. And it's kind of like when you feel like you have to tell somebody something because if something happens, you're gonna be like, I should have said something. And I know she felt that way. And so I appreciated her concern, and I said thank you. And it's hard to like listen to those kind of things and be told those, but also like when I'm doing something that's as out of the norm as having a home birth, I'm gonna hear those things and I know it. And I'm gonna get comments from people who don't agree with me. And that's okay, because we all have our opinions, right? And we all know what's best, you know. So she was very nice. After that, she let me go. So they ended up taking the catheter out, checking my levels again, and I was telling them, she's like, please let me know when you have to go to the bathroom. I want to take you to the bathroom. And so pretty soon I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, I have to go. So my husband goes and tells her, and like, I'm like, okay, no, I really have to go. I'm going to wet my pants. I have to go. And I think he went and got her again because like 10 minutes had passed. And so she comes in and she's like, you know, you had that catheter again. I don't think you really have to go to the bathroom. It's probably just a sensation. And I'm like, okay. So I get to the bathroom and I like, of course, went to potty forever. And she's like, oh, wow, you really did have to go. And I'm like, I know. So finally we get released from the hospital and we got to come home with our sweet, sweet baby boys. My poor parents were probably exhausted because they got there in the morning about 6:30, 7, 8. And then we didn't get home from the hospital till about 9 o'clock at night. But we were so thankful for my parents being there and my friend being there to watch the kids while I was laboring. And like I said, it was all just precautionary. And I think I could have stayed home and been okay. Recovery has been going pretty well. Our smaller baby had lost a little bit of weight, and so when I went back to my midwife just for like a checkup, she said he wasn't gaining great and she wanted to see him gain better. So we started some formula, which I've never given formula to any of my kids, but I guess my body's just having a hard time keeping up with nursing 2 babies. So I'm still able to pump some and give them that and some formula. And it does make it a little bit easier for me to be able to give a bottle and nurse, rather than just like nursing on demand the whole time, because nursing 2 babies at once is tricky, and that's the way I've been doing it. But I'm gonna keep after trying to nurse them. I've always been a huge advocate of, you know, breastfeeding, but when I found out that my baby wasn't gaining weight, it's like you will go to the end of the world to do what you have to do to make your baby, you know, survive and be healthy. And so that's what we did. We're gonna give him some formula and see what's best for him. And you know, it's true, like a fed baby is best. People may have their arguments, but like once you enter the place where like you can't give your baby breast milk, you know, it's like, what are you gonna do? So you can still get like the best formula and stuff like that. But that was about it with my birth story. I thank you guys all for your well wishes and your continued prayers and being such an amazing like support. Like y'all have been such an encouragement and I truly appreciate it. And I'm so glad I got to share this birth story with y'all. And I hope you'll stick around as we navigate being parents to twins and a family of 9. Boo baby.
He says he pooped.
So this is our littler baby, but we call him Big Brother because he was born first by about 30 minutes, 35 minutes maybe. Yeah. He came fast and furious. So fast. So fast. So these are our babies and we are so excited for this journey, and it still feels surreal. Yeah. I'm very blessed and I'm very thankful for all of y'all. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Please bear with me as I get back into the routine of posting videos. I'm trying to get things out for y'all. But I can't wait to see y'all again soon. And I thank you again for all of your support and your prayers. Bye, guys.